So hi, welcome to the series that is History Optional Demystified. Today we'll be talking about specifically Mauryan period. Maurya is very important topic. आपको sources अच्छे से करना है, then Indus Valley Civilization, Vedic period, and after Vedic period the most important topic that we have is Mauryas. Large number of questions have come from here. So first let us see the syllabus. Syllabus में if you see the initial part, that is going to be the foundation of the Mauryan Empire, role of important personalities like Chandragupta, Kautilya along with his famous book Arthashastra. Then we have the most important monarch of the time, that is Ashoka, his concept of dharma or dhamma, his important inscriptions or edicts, polity, administration, economy, art and architecture, sculpture, external contact, religion, spread of religion, literature, disintegration of the empire, and the next two dynasties, that is Shungas and Kanvas. Okay, and the last ruler of Kanvas was executed by Satavahanas. So this is the syllabus that we have. So we can see it's a very extensive coverage of the Mauryan period. इसीलिए every year we can expect one question from Mauryas. Okay, so let us see the trends. So overall the number of questions are 30. If you see the foundation phase, 1 question, Kautilya and Arthashastra, 6 questions, Ashoka, 7 questions, edicts, 3 questions specifically, polity and admin, 6, economy 1, art and architecture 3, external contact 1, disintegration of the empire 1, and finally if we see the Shungas and Kanvas. So from there also UPSC has asked 1 question. So we have 30 questions. 30 questions बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं. That's why you need to understand the PYQs and then prepare accordingly. Okay. Let us see the first category. So determine the extent of the Mauryan Empire. Such questions used to come previously. अब उतना ज़्यादा relevance नहीं है. But still, since it was the first pan-India empire, that's why such questions can be expected. Okay. Now, such questions are very much important. Like, how would you categorize the nature of Mauryan state on the basis of Kautilya Shastra? UPSC can ask you question on the type of administration we were having, centralized or decentralized. So, on the basis of only if one source that they are asking, so एक source के basis पे आपको answer करना है. Like, if we see the administration of Mauryas from today's perspective, so हम उसको centralized नहीं बोलते हैं, okay, but the first interpretation of the administration was centralized in nature, and it was on the basis of uncritical reading or uncritical you can say summarization of the source of Arthashastra. So UPSC is directly asking you question on the basis of only one source. So that's why you should be very clear in while writing the answers कि सिर्फ एक source पे पूछा है or on the basis of Indica as well as inscriptions of Ashoka. If we are combining all the sources, then answer would be different. If they're asking only one source, then answer would be different. Okay. Next, they are asking social norms for women in Dharma Shastra as well as in Arthashastra tradition were framed in according with Varna Ashma Dharma tradition. So whatever information we get with respect to the women and the society, that you need to write down. Then veracity of Megasthenes description. So whatever Megasthenes has told about India, you need to have that on one side, and then veracity. To what extent that can be considered truthful? Okay, because there are certain lapses in his discussions. Next, we see the comparative merit of Arthashastra, Indica, and inscription as sources of administration, socio-economic, and religious life. You need to understand the importance. कौन से part में कौन सा source जो है वो ज़्यादा dominating है. Then relative importance of different sources as well as examine the sources of Mauryan dynasty and are the understanding the administration. So sources are very important. 3 important sources: Arthashastra, Indica, and inscriptions. Try to understand the relative importance, and that's how you can write very good answer. Then if we see Ashoka, so Ashoka is all pervasive. Ashoka के ऊपर बहुत सारे questions आते रहेंगे because he is one of the most important, or I would say the first important personality of Indian history. Okay, which is even asked in the interviews. So how Ashoka used religion as a tool of political aggrandizement. Okay, aggrandizement means how he used it to increase his sphere of the Mauryan polity. Second, we can see the concept of Ashoka's Dhamma as found his inscription had its roots in Vedic, okay, or in Vedas. Next, we should discuss different interpretation of historians about the nature of Ashoka's Dhamma. So Ashoka's Dhamma के related कितने type क्या interpretations है? That has been done by various historians. Some say it is just Buddhism, some say these are universal principles, some say something else. So what is important for us, we need to understand the various facets of policies of Ashoka, and on the basis of that we need to come up with our own interpretation. Then content of Dhamma as well as the policies of Dhamma, we need to analyze and account for its failure. Like he was not able to eventually come up with the final or hegemony, because after his downfall Dhamma also declined. had it been successfully propagated, it could have stayed for various centuries. So that's why we need to also account for the failure in the long run. Then elements of change and continuity in the domestic and foreign policies of Ashoka. Nature of Ashoka's Dhamma, was it responsible for the downfall of his empire? So that is something which is a very debatable topic. To what extent his pacifist policy led to the downfall of Mauryas? So there you need to understand, he did not abolish capital punishment, he did not abolish the killing of animals altogether overall. Okay, and he also did not disband his army on the basis of his philosophy. So if we see the overall perspective, yes, to some extent military became weak because they were not practicing the art for which they were recruited, but still at the same time they were not disbanded. So we cannot say this person is overall responsible for the downfall of Mauryas. Okay, that is something which you need to understand. Then examine sources of information for Mauryan dynasty, throw light on historical significance of Ashoka's inscription. Short essay on inscription of Ashoka. Then importance of Ashoka's rock edict 13 for determining the extent, because we found his edicts from various places, major, minor, pillar inscription, cave inscriptions, all those inscriptions we need to understand. Then, do you agree that with the popular view that Mauryan established a unitary and highly centralized, if not monolithic, state system? So this is the debate. This question came in 2018. Can we call it centralized or decentralized? So the answer would always be in between. Okay, there was a degree of centripetal force towards the center, but at the same time, considering the communication network of those times, as well as seeing the certain you can say exceptions in the central administration. If we see the northwestern part of India, तो यार वहाँ पे जो inscription है, they are not literal translation of the Ashokan magnificence. Okay, so that shows only one thing: some popular initiative could be allowed at the local level. So if local administration is having very good you can say steps, it means कि decentralization के elements हैं. That's all you need to decide. Then role of Adhyaksha in Mauryan administration, nature of Mauryan state, bring out the features of this administrative system. All right. So a large different type of questions have been asked by UPSC. Then his contribution to moral and administrative welfare, because he is a person who is famous for his paternalism. Okay, like he considered his subjects to be his son and daughters, and that means he was very caring in nature, and that you need to write down. Then his Mauryan municipal administration. So we have two people who talk about it. One, Arthashastra, okay, Kautilya himself, and then second would be, we need to talk about the Megasthenes and his source of Indica, which also provides 6 committees of 5 members, all having different functions, that you need to mention. Then examine the administration system and briefly discuss the causes of disintegration. Then with respect to economy, how they regulated it, like some of the specific sectors, they were under the central hegemony. Okay, so that we need to remember. Then we have architectural and artistic features of great stupa at Sanchi. Then similarity difference in the pillars. So now this is one debate ki Mauryan art is just an part of alien grafting, or we just mindlessly copied the Iranian pillars. So to some extent this is correct or incorrect, that we need to identify. Then we can see nature and impact of the foreign relations. Okay, Mediterranean में कितने foreign relations थे, like from the time of Chandragupta Maurya, then Bindusara, and then eventually coming under the Ashoka. Okay, so all 3 foreign ambassadors came. So that foreign relations, they were very important for them. And under Ashoka specifically, there was a change from Bheri Ghosha to Dhamma Ghosha. So there was a transformation in the foreign contact. Under Bindusara, he asked for a friend कि यार जब बाहर से आओगे तो थोड़ा वाइन वगैरह लेके आना. All right. So that we even say when some of your friend जो है वो बाहर से आ रहे हैं. So that kind of relations were also there. Then we see, do you think that the economic factors were alone responsible for disintegration of Mauryan empire? So this theory is given by Didi Kosambi. You need to first write it down, evaluate it, and then write the other factors. Last question that we have is development of art and architecture during the Shunga period belies the belief that they were anti-Buddhist. Discuss. So सबसे बड़ा problem जो है वो ये है, Pushyamitra Shunga, he was responsible for the downfall of Mauryan empire, and he executed Brihadat, who was giving patronage to Buddhism. And even in the Buddhist sources, he is considered as a person who was very fundamentalist. Okay, so there's always a kind of belief that he was anti-Buddhist, but his son Agnimitra, he gave patronage to Buddhism. That's why there was this reversal of the policies. And if we see the various stupas, so stupas में जो नए features आए थे, they came during the Shunga period. That's why the art and architecture, they belies the fact. All right. So if we see the sources, the whole chapter number 7, it is important. पूरा अच्छे से पढ़ो, ठीक है. Different kind of dimensions you're going to find in this chapter, but this chapter is very important. All right. इसको अच्छे से पढ़ो. सारे टॉपिक्स लास्ट तक दिए हुए हैं, इंक्लूडिंग दी डिक्लाइन ऑफ द मौर्यस. बहुत अच्छे से सारे डिबेट्स कवर किए गए हैं इन उपिंदर सिंह. If you wish to remember along with this, you can just supplement it with R.S. Sharma. यार अलग से बैठ के there is one book which is written by रोमिला थापड़, अशोका एंड द डिक्लाइन ऑफ द मौर्यास. ठीक है, मौर्य एम्पायर पे पूरा एक बुक लिखा हुआ है. उन सब के पीछे मत भागो. दैट इज नॉट आवर रिक्वायरमेंट. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू PhD. ओके, ऑल ऑफ अस वी आर स्टडिंग फॉर विद स्ट्रिक्टली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू सिलेबस. उसके अंदर एक्सेल करना है. whichever topics are mentioned, excel in them. Don't go for कि हर टॉपिक के लिए एक बुक पढ़ लो. नो, डोंट डू दैट. डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम. इनिशियली जब आप स्टार्ट करते लगता है यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, बट वंस यू स्टार्ट सेइंग कि यार जीएस में ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, एथिक्स में केस स्टडी करना है, आंसर राइटिंग करना है, करंट अफेयर पढ़ना है, लास्ट में टाइम कम ज़्यादा नहीं लगेगा. शुरुआत में लगता है इन इनिशियल फर्स्ट 3 months ऑफ योर प्रिपरेशन. ओके, सो डोंट कमिट दैट मिस्टेक. आई एम हियर टू मेक यू हेल्प. आपको गाइड करने के लिए हूँ किस तरीके से आपको सोर्सेज कवर करना है, कौन सा आपके प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस हैं, इनको देखो और इसी लिमिट के अंदर पढ़ाई करो. See the syllabus, previous year question, trend analysis, and then eventually go for answer writing. इन्हीं चीज़ों के अंदर we are going to come up with a previous year question course also. Okay, तो उसको आप कर लेना. Eventually इसके साथ कम से कम उतना भी कर लोगे तो एक लेवल तक आपका प्रिपरेशन अच्छे से हो जाएगा. Okay, so at least do this much. I'll see you in the next video.